You ready for some fishing? Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. On today's show, we're going to be fishing in an old coal pit. Now this is one of the places that I used to fish years ago whenever I was a kid, so it's going to bring back a lot of memories. So you guys stay tuned. I'm Mark Goins and you're watching Hooked on Fishing. Oh, that's a little bit bigger one right there. That's a good one. Ooh, look here, what a fish. This is a nice fish right here. I mean a nice fish. Look at this chunk. I got you now. How about that? Look at that fish. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. There's a nice fish right there. What's she gonna get ready to spawn too? Okay, I'll let you go. Bye-bye. How about that? Fish was right up there on that, on just pretty much where the rock started transitioning at, you know, off of the mud, off of the more of the scattered rock. It started getting thicker, and this fish was really extremely shallow. The old crankbait. Mm-hmm. What you dig? Got him a mouthful of that crankbait. Come up here, buddy. Got a mouthful of that crankbait. What the good on that thing? Oh, dog. Think that, uh-oh, this fish is done. Got her a big old perch in her mouth. I tell you what, you need to look at the size of this perch that's in this fish's mouth, folks. God, dog. You guys look at the size of this perch. You guys can see down in there. Ain't that a big old perch that thing is eating? Holy cow. And look at how big her gut is. Better let you go. Man. But that thing still decided she wanted another bite of crankbait, I guess, for dessert. Wow. Man, this goes to show you how aggressive that a bass is. Anything that gets in its territory, it wants to attack it. I mean, I don't know where that fish thought she was going to eat that crankbait, or she just trying to kill it and get it out of the way. She sure had a big mouthful. Did you see that? They come up and hit it on the top. Shit. Crankbait messed up. I was jerking and the fish come up and hit it on top. He got it then. He got it then. See you, buddy. There's another one. Little better fish too. Feel like it. Yeah, a little chunk. Got one hook, so I can get another hook in. There we go. Come on up here. Another little chunky fish. Well, I mean, she got it. Only got one hook, but I tell you what, it was in a good spot. It was in a good spot. Little pre-spawn fish. Okay, I'll let you go. I don't see no big perch sticking out of her throat. She got a belly though. She's gonna be spawning here for too long. Big one. Back over here on these rocks. Come up here, buddy. This thing got a piece of, like it's got a piece of fishing line coming out there. I'm not gonna start pulling on it, but not sure what that is. The fish at one time swallowed a hook and he's trying to pass it. See ya. Like a damn woman, never satisfied. Look at there, that there come that little backlash. He said, I'll just give up. You come right on in here. Had a little professional overrun. Whoa, howdy, he said. Basically what I'm doing, folks, is this old coal pit that I'm fishing. I mean, the water's extremely deep out here real close to the bank, but what I'm doing, I'm focusing real shallow because it's early spring and you know, we're here in the afternoon now. The water temperature's rising, so these fish are going to start getting extremely shallow and start getting ready to think about spawning. That's one thing you want to remember when you're fishing early in the spring like this, especially late in the evening. A lot of them fish will move up and they'll get pretty shallow. So always keep that in mind. I mean, you may get out real deep early of a morning and catch them, and then especially in the afternoon, they may move shallower. So just keep that in mind when you're fishing, especially in the springtime, because these fish are they're constantly changing with the weather pretty much every day. I mean, we get these cold fronts and stuff come in, it'll kind of back them off a little bit, and as you know, especially when you get a little bit of sunshine and it warms up, the water's temperature starts warming up a little bit, and they'll move and get shallow. So if you find them in one spot one day and you go back the next day and they're gone, it's a good chances are they moved a little bit closer to their spawning areas and got a little shallower. So that's where this little square bill crankbait comes in handy. Ooh, hit his head. There's another one. That feels like a good fish too. That is a good one. Woo, that's another good fish, folks, right there. That's another good fish. Ooh, she just got one hook. What's a good thing about this old limber rod? I'm just letting the fish do all the pulling. Come on up here, honey. Come on up here. Come on up here. I got you now. I got you now. There you go. What the gut on that thing? Woo, man, she got a gut. All right. Ain't that a fat, pretty fish? She is full of eggs. All right, we're gonna let you go. See, away she went. Folks, that's the second good fish that I've caught off of this big rock ledge. I mean, if this is kind of a cool deal. On one side of the strip pit here, you look and it's not, you know, you don't have that kind of outcropping of rocks like you do on the other side. This other side is almost kind of like a bluff. But what I'm doing is I'm getting real close and I'm paralleling down through the edge of this thing because this thing is so deep and most of these fish are up really, really close to the bank and they can just, that's the thing about fishing a bluff type bank. I mean, the fish can just move up and down with the weather conditions. So, and that's what's going on here. These fish are really, really close to the bank because they're wanting to get up to and get ready to start spawning. So I'm keeping my bait in the strike zone a whole lot longer with me getting real close to the bank and firing a parallel shot down the edge of this steep bluff. There's one right there. Oh, that's another good one. Woo, that's another good fish right there. Boy, I stopped that crankbait and twisted it about twice and he nailed it. I got you now. There's another good chunky fish. I mean, that's a good chunky fish. Look at the gut on that thing. It won't be long, she'll be on the bank. It won't be long, she'll be on the bank. Look at the belly on that fish. God, dog, you think she's fixing to bust. Oh, look here, this one here done got her something to eat too. See there in groceries she got in there? That looks like another perch. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Away she went. The old fish are chewing, boy, they're getting ready to, they're feeding up, getting ready to spawn. I reeled that crankbait through there and I slowed it down and I just stopped it and just twisted a couple times and pow! A cool thing that you can find about the fishing on these bluff type banks, folks, is a lot of times you have what you call a rock slide. You'll see places where there's been rocks roll off in the water and it just kind of forms like a little point there. And them old fish really love getting around that. I made a little change. I noticed something a while ago on that one fish that I caught that had that perch in his throat. That perch had a lot of chartreuse. Had a lot of chartreuse on his tail. So what I've done is I've made a little change and switched to a chartreuse colored crankbait with a dark colored back on it. And it seemed to make a little difference. So you always want to pay attention to little things like that. You'd be surprised at how little small things like that will help you catch a few more fish. Fish are always trying to tell you something. And that one just told me, he said, Mark, you need to switch to a chartreuse crankbait. Oh, there he is. Boy, he knocked the far out of that thing. Up here, buddy. I got you now. It looks like old male fish. It is an old male fish. Boy, he hit that thing pretty hard. That's old skinny male fish. He's looking for a girlfriend. Oh, see you, buddy. all these fish will probably, more likely they'll spawn along these bluffs. That's another good fish. Little rocket crawl eater. First fish I've caught all day long on a piece of plastic. Well, folks, as you can see, the old coal pit still got a few fish left in it. You know, it brings back a lot of memories whenever I was a kid. You know, load the old flat bottom in the back of the truck and come down here and slide it off the bank and just fish all day long and catch a lot of fish and have a really good time. You know, there's a lot of these coal pits throughout the country, and they're really good places to fish. Be sure and ask the landowner for permission and leave the place just like you found it, and I promise you, you'll always get to come back. Visit me on Facebook, take your kids fishing every chance you get, and we'll see you back here again next week.
Thanks for watching this week's Hooked on Fishing with your host, Mark Owens. Be sure and join Mark again next week at this same time. Hooked on Fishing with Mark Owens. Brought to you by the following fine sponsors: